Okay, so let's test everything. I think I've got the audio going. Yep, got that. I'm just gonna shrink down this window. See if I can have a few things on at the same time. Alrighty. So I'm just gonna get things started here by seeking out some palettes. So hopefully I can find some nice colors that that will invoke Dune, deserts, that sort of thing. So what have we got here? Let's start by building this palette here. I'm gonna go Dune. We've got some nice colors here. Start here. Okay, so I'm gonna make that one. This one here. All right. Do I have? Yes, people can see my mouse. That's good. I'm gonna move that to here. Oh, I like this chocolate. And let's put that here. All right, just building a palette first before doing anything else. Now we need some nice cool tones for shadows and highlights. Wow, we've got no viewers. It's interesting. What was this? I'll keep these blues. Maybe we'll just put it here. All right. Ah, we got some viewers. Excellent. Sound off in the comments if you are here. Hi, welcome. I'm just setting everything up while I can. I'm going to try to go for a little longer than normal because, well, it's the middle of the day. And not only that, the poll that I ran on YouTube seemed to show that people were more comfortable with a slightly later time. So I thought I'd start early and just continue on into the next hour. That way, I think I can, I can really work to as many people's schedules as possible. So right now, I'm just trying to pick some colors to work with. Desert, just using color lovers. This is an old standby, tried and true. Frosty desert haze. Oh, I like this one. I think I've used this one before. Sandcat. See, they've got some nice greens there. This has got a really nice purple in there. Is it worth going Dune? Because I need a blue or something like that. Okay, Dune. Here we go. Here's some nice color. And that's got a blue. So a dark blue. It's got some nice purples, but not too many browns. This could be nice. I think... Let's have a look at this one. This top-rated one. Could be interesting. Okay, I really like this blue. I like that blue too. Damn it. Okay, so I've got those blues there. I'll just take these ones away so that I know that these are the colors that I have. Then I've got some nice blue tones. We've got... See, I think I've got enough browns. This is just working stuff out at the moment. Okay, so let's put that there and move that up. See if there's... Okay, so I've got enough khaki colors that I could probably cover Paul Atreides with. We need some Juney sand ones. We need a bluish sky. And what else? Yeah, I might have to take away some of these blues. I do like this one, but let's just see if there's something better to choose from. This is Dunes. There's some pinks here, which could be nice as a... Wrong sentiment, I think. Love your work. So sad I can't stay. I have to go cook. That's okay. I'm recording this. Yeah, look, I'll still be on in about an hour or whatever. So if you're around, just pop back in. I'll probably be well into the drawing part of that. But thanks for dropping by and saying hello. Yeah, this is a new time that I'm trying out. See if it works for people. This is Dunes and Lagoons. Now we want something that invokes dryness. I like that grey. And I like that. Okay, I think I'm just going to take this grey here. What you doing? Hey, Kelly, how you doing? Is this a good time for you? Wow, okay. What am I doing? I'm going to be drawing. I'll show you in a second. I'm just going to pick this colour here. I got a lot of votes for Dune as the subject, and so I'm going to do Paul Atreides from the new Villeneuve movie. What's his name? Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides. I think it's an awesome cast. I gotta say, the casting in this has got me excited. Did you do this sketching? Yes, I did. I prepared it basically because I wanted the thumbnail, but I'll be essentially sketching over. So, redoing a bunch of stuff, including doing a background one. So I'm just sort of leaving this as a bit of a reference. I didn't know, and I happened to click right as you started. Can't wait to see. Thanks, Robot. Yep, I'll see you soon. Hopefully you'll be around. So I've got a rough sketch. I've got some rough shading. I'm going to have to call this shadows. And I have... this is more a mask than anything else. So what I can do is begin starting on this. I can probably just take these things away. And I've got these composition lines to sort of help me center the subject. And what I like is that Timothée Chalamet's got this very bony, thin, physique. It's almost featureless. I don't know if you've seen him in many movies. And so what I want to do is invoke a bit of that as I draw. Can everyone hear me okay? I'm hoping that I've got my OBS open so that I can see my levels and I can sort of see the concurrent viewers and playbacks and all that. So that's all good. And seems to be a good time for streaming. Like the connection's excellent. So why don't we get to some drawing? I'm going to go refine. And let's do a refined sketch. I'd like to go straight to inks. Maybe I can. Maybe I can go straight to inks. But I'm just a little bit apprehensive. Like I really want to be able to get this correct. I mean, I'll just check my balance. Yeah, look, opposite way, it still looks good. So look, maybe I can just jump straight to inks. Yeah? Yeah. Let's go. Ink pen, stroke, stabilize stroke. Okay, that's still in solid fill. Yes, I will need a black in there, and I will definitely need a white, 100%. No, let's just add. Excellent, good. I've got a nice color palette working there, and we'll start with the black. Will be in our ink pen, this conventional one. Let's go with, actually, if we just do black and white and just do the little switching over, I've got my, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to see if, let's see, screencast keys. let's see if this works, because I know that a lot of you want to see the keys that I press. And so with that enabled, region, background, font size, offset. Okay, show last operator. All right, let's see now. Is that doing anything? Not yet. Ah, right. Okay, I have to see if I can get my screencast. yes, that's what I'm hoping for. Let's not filter the add-ons. We don't need some of these anyway, so I'm just going to disable a couple of things like simple sketch. Don't need that. And right now I don't need the storyboard plugin. So we just have the screencast keys. All right, so let's see. Origin. Window. Oh, man. World. Viewport. Theme. Just to get the screencast keys going. I wonder why they're not showing. Are they? Line right, maybe? No, that's not showing up. Set origin. Okay. Region, set origin. Oh man, if this is not going to work at all, I'm just going to yell out what I'm pressing, because, yeah, I just don't know. Just don't know why it's not showing up. Do I need to... Ah, because... I haven't enabled it. Because I'm silly. Let's go area. Yep, okay, I see it, excellent. Let's offset. Let's bring that up a little bit. Oof, I hope you guys can't hear my kids. Mouse size, let's maximize that, and let's maximize the font size. And yes, okay, good. All right, can everyone see those screencast keys okay? Yep. All right, so now let's get the world setting. Maybe just go this side, scene world, so we can have this nice, and I'm just going to give it a nice, should I do a bluish tone? The screencast keys might need a shadow. Yep, definitely need a shadow. No, I don't want to get aggressively. Oof. Fiddling around with the screencast keys is always fun, isn't it? Right, so if we can see that background, now we can go... Oh, why did this not show... Oh, viewport. Let's make the viewport color a little bit brighter. Maybe we'll go with a 50% grey to draw over. Okay, good. Right. Now we can see the screencast keys. Now we can sort of see the sketch, which is nice. And let's get on, we'll call these inks. All right. So yeah, speaking of my drawing method, let me explain a little bit how I've set things up here. Ugh, maybe I don't need that. How have I set things up? Well, I've got this grease pencil object. I've labeled it Paul. I've got, do we need the, yeah, I don't need that empty anymore. I have a camera, and I've gone for a CinemaScope aspect ratio, so something nice and wide. And again, I can crop this down a little bit later on. And I've got my, on this camera, let me just show you here. Camera selected. I've got these composition guides, if you guys can see that. And it gives you a bunch of different ones. Hey, Arturo's here. Hey, Arturo. Wow, I think I might be in the right time zone for some interesting interactions today. Yes, so the composition guides, like the very conventional one is the rule of thirds. So no matter what size camera you have, the guides will be dividing your width and height of your aspect ratio into exact thirds. But there are some slightly more interesting ones out there, such as golden ratio. Now, this is also a rule of thirds, but it is split up using the golden ratio. And you'll see that there's, like, where is the ratio? Well, the ratio is longest and shortest, as well as longest again and shortest again. So it does this sort of double ratio. And it does the same horizontally as vertically. And this gives you a slightly different composition. It still can obey the rule of thirds, but the balance is a bit more organic, a little bit more, real life. And, you often see a lot of rule of thirds split up images, but using a golden ratio will kind of, well, what's that meme with Pooh Bear, when he's down the bottom with the monocle? Yeah, if you're using the golden ratio, you're that Pooh Bear, or the last mind-blowing, universe-expanding meme. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, if you use that. And then there are triangles. So if you wanted, to check ratios that are a little bit different, you can definitely experiment with those. So I did that to get this picture's balanced. So do you change the 3D cursor to make different marks? Galaxy Brain, that's the meme. Yes, Galaxy Brain. Right. Do I change the 3D cursor to make different marks? No, that sort of changes with the tool. Now what I've done, you guys can see my mouse. I've actually got this little widget that comes with Windows called Magnifier. And if I have this enabled, it means that I can disable my mouse inside of OBS, which is what I'm streaming with. And you'll see a better mouse representation on screen. So, should we get to some drawing? I think we should get to some drawing. I've got my inks here. My sketch can be brought down in opacity. Let's go into draw mode. N key, tool. So we've got our nice Dune palette that I've just created. And let's get some. I think I'll start with the face. Now, have I got my strokes? That's a little thick. So let's bring down the radius. Still a little too thick. Let's maybe go another 20 pixels down. Okay, that should be good. That should be good. Right, so we'll start here. And we'll just begin to draw. So, yeah, this part is like any drawing program. What I like about drawing... it's so nice that there is some people who use the 2D animation aspect of Blender. It is overlooked. Yes, I have to agree. And I gotta say that I truly enjoy working in grease pencil. It is like I've gotten used to it, and there's sort of like a vector component to it, which kind of reminds me of Illustrator. And it's got a lot of things that if you're coming from, say, like a Clip Studio Paint background, you'll be surprisingly used to it. Just because the brushes work really nicely. We've got this nice set of default brushes, and then I've got my two custom ones, which are basically based on the pencil brush. And then what I've done is I've given them a graphite pencil texture with a locked color in the vertex color paint space. But they're the only custom ones that I use just for the sketching. All right, I'm still feeling not too warmed up, so I'm hoping as I go, this will slightly improve. And so I've got this stabilize feature on this ink pen. And as I go, I often find that if I like a line sort of like, maybe 80%, I won't redraw it. I'll just go into edit mode, go into my proportional editing tool, and then just do things like scale or sculpt or all those sorts of things. Ah, how did I delete everything? There we go. I come from Paint, so it's pretty different, but I really like it. It's different from Illustrator because it's still vector. If only I control. Yes, look, I don't think there is a single Paint program out there that you need to, well, be able to draw. You know, nothing's going to really do it for you. Um, there are things that facilitate certain methods. You know, like I love this particular part of Grease Pencil, the editing part, right? I can sort of go in and say, yeah, I like that line, but it's just a little bit off or whatever. But I can do things like, let's say, subdivide and then smooth out the points. And there's even this widget here which allows you to repeat the process, and it kind of, you know, adds to it. And so if you need a smoother line, it's right there. So, and you know, you can sort of delete some points, and you know, and I do this right through the process, right? So even if I've just started, I don't leave that as a separate thing. Now, Timothy's hair here is just this wonderful, you know, wavy locks. You know, sort of wish my hair had this sort of body. Doesn't. And so we're going to try to get the look of these wavy curls into the drawing. Right. Contouring hair is something that is definitely one of those very zen parts of artwork. Yes. So yes, I've been working quite exclusively in the grease pencil for the past few weeks because work related mainly. I've been doing a heck of a lot of storyboarding for a little project, as well as some other client work, and it's all illustrative, and anything illustrative, I've decided just to jump into grease pencil because it works, it does what I need it to do, and I can very quickly edit, change, whatever. Okay, I'm just going to disable this camera here because it's going to be flat. There's a little bit of a Kyle MacLachlan jawline going on here. I mean, I know Timothy Chalamet's got his own, but you know, he's much more younger looking. He's got more roundness to him. Yeah, there's that smoothness, and you can sort of adjust that. I think the settings that I have got, if you can see these points, they're all very spaced apart, but I can subdivide and smooth to further make that curve a lot more fluid, organic, whatever you really want to call it. So this is the bit of the nose. This definitely needs a subdivide and a smooth so that I can get in there and get a nice curve going. Yes. So yeah, working with grease pencil quite a bit. And so I've kind of gotten into a slower rhythm, if you like, rather than trying to rush everything and trying to do everything speedily and hastily. And it's definitely helps the quality along. You know, the inking I've got to get right. You know, I sort of have to get, if I get the inks right, the colors are basically, you know, fill. Anyway, Timothy Chalamet's got these interesting eyes that always kind of look like there's an intensity to them, but they're almost, I don't know, is stoned the right word? He could be very intense, but in a sort of a stoned kind of way. Alright, let's get this. And he's got these eyelashes as well. I'll try to get those in there without making it look too... You know, like whenever you do eyelashes, in illustration, it always seems to, I don't know, it's used to indicate a feminine aspect to a character, you know? And, you know, there are guys with some very good looking eyelashes. Like this guy right here. And you know, there are some artists that can really pull off that look, and I'm hoping I can get there. Let's just move this eyebrow a little further back, give a bit more space here. Maybe that's not working quite right. All right, so this hair is going to come out really nice because we've got this lovely contouring. Hey, grab that, rotate, hold that back. Oh, didn't want to hide that. Okay, save. Okay, so we will get this. Now I've got these sort of Dune-like teeth that I like to draw, a little bit anime. I kind of went. I don't know if anyone sort of knows that artist, Joe Mad. He used to do a lot of X-Men. He had that game Darksiders and now Battle Chasers, and I really loved. How he sort of works in a sort of a part anime, part realism style to his teeth, right? So there's always these nice gum lines, and I think I might have to come and redo that a little bit as well. Oh, grease pencil in the game engine. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. That's just my 2 cents. Yeah, because I think a lot more people are using things like Unity and Unreal now, and I'm wondering if the game engine might be a bit too far. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that side of things, so maybe I really shouldn't comment on it. Okay, so now we've got this hoodie here, so maybe we can get a thicker line going. Get these inks in. Let's have a bit of a flow and try to get, yeah, we'll definitely need to get some more strands of hair worked out here. Okay. Yep. That's interesting working at the daytime, but like 9 p.m. in the eastern, no, the, what do they call it? Pacific Daylight Time. Oh, man. Everyone sort of seems to understand the US time zones a lot easier. Right, and then we've got this little tube thing going as well. Right, so... Right. Yep. Yeah, man. I've missed this. I've got to say I've missed doing this stuff. Haven't been able to get onto YouTube and Patreon for a couple of months now due to various work ramping up and stuff. Really do apologize for not sort of being around for that stuff as much. It's oh, there. Okay, so there's this nice little strap thing here. Yeah, thanks Philosophy 101. Yes, if you come back and I'm still on, that's great. Otherwise, yeah, you can catch the speeded up version that'll only be about 5 minutes of the entire process in a day or two. So yes, thanks for dropping by. Okay, so let's get this strap. Okay, and that can be sort of masked over by some more cloth. And maybe there's an extra bit of material underneath. Yeah. That kind of allows us sort of to hide things like the neckline that I'm just entirely not sure exactly where it should go. Yeah, so we've got that bit inked in. All right, we're looking okay. Right, where are we at? 12:30. Yeah, it's good. So half an hour in, and I've done a bit, not too much fluffing around. Now, I love these pads. I'm going to try to get those drawn in as detailed as possible. So we got this part of the arm. We've got this. I'm looking forward to seeing this movie. I remember seeing the old version that was, well, it's directed by David Lynch, but got released under the title of a Alan Smithy film. Alan Smithy is possibly the most prolific director in Hollywood. If you guys don't know the history of Alan Smithy, it's a made-up name that directors who are not satisfied with their work put on as a credit. So they get paid, but they don't ever want to sort of be associated with a certain film, and so it becomes an Alan Smithy film. And the original Dune was, yep, it was credited to Alan Smithy. Oh, hello, my microphone is doing something funny. Sorry, guys. Hope this isn't going to... I'll try to lean it up here. There we go. Just to get it out of my hand orbit. Hope you come back with some new goodies to show us on Patreon. Yes, me too, Kelly. I really am hoping to. Okay, so if you wanted to sort of know what I'm up to, those you already don't know, I'm currently storyboarding the Eat Sheep film project, which is a very awesome little project to be involved in. And that's taking up a lot of time, but I'm also on another small local project as well, which is going to finish up sometime, I want to say next month. Okay, so he's got these nice gloves here. And so when this one's off the plate, I'll just be doing Eat Sheep, and hopefully this will give me some free time to come back to Patreon and YouTube and stuff. And like, I'm seeing a lot of people so prolific on YouTube and things like that, like posting once, twice a week. And I'm like, man, if I had the time to post that way, yeah, I could probably bump up the subscriber count, because it really is dependent on, how often you post stuff. And, twice a month isn't really cutting it, because, yeah, you're not in people's orbit. It's sort of just the natural way of things. There's always something to fill the void. And, there's also, look, there's some stuff that's in talks at the moment, but I'll be probably joining some other platforms in terms of educational material. And there may be a period of reevaluating stuff like Patreon. Like, I've got it on all my videos, and I've got it, like, it's something that I love doing. But if it sort of ends up being like a tip jar, then I think that's where it might ultimately end up. I mean, I can still do exclusive content or giveaways or that sort of stuff. But because I'll be spending a lot more time working on content for other platforms, it kind of splits the focus, as it were, and I kind of don't like that aspect of the game. As there's only so many hours in the day, and you know, you sort of have to figure out what is going to earn some money and things like that, and not only earn money, but is going to be a good value to the viewer, right? And so, if say CG Cookie comes along and says, "Oh, look, can you do something for our platform?" They tend to pay up front and say, "Okay, it's worth this much," and then we bundle it with this package or that package, or it's a freebie or whatever. And so you as the end user can get a freebie or pay very little and be able to access a lot of media. And my stuff is included. That's really good. Because I'm not dependent on, say like hustling every day to get the Patreon supporters or the YouTube hits or anything like that. I've been paid and the content is out there and people can access it, and the support is still there. I like that idea. When will the new manga shader be ready? Yeah, I'm hoping soon. Because every now and then I go in and I dabble with it, and there are things that I want to do. Primarily, the idea behind the next comics shader is that I want it to be able to be something that you can bake textures out of, right? So you're working, you create your own materials, and then you want to get this, I don't know, this file into game software or up on Sketchfab or whatever. And because everything is so far procedurally generated inside of Blender, it only kind of works inside of Blender. But, so many people are like, oh, can I use this in Unreal? Can I use this in Unity? And all that. And because the nodes are just inside of Blender, it's like the answer is no. But because there are a lot of people who want to work in multiple programs for multiple reasons, this is something that I am definitely looking at. And so that is the focus of the next iteration of the comics shader. And it will be sort of cycles based again, because the free one is really fun to use in Eevee, and it allows for some really nice effects. But because it's free, it kind of makes sense that that's a Blender thing. And the paid one, well, it should have a lot more features. And one of the features that I really want to sell it on is create your own library of materials with it that you can easily export by baking, right? And so, yeah, I'm still figuring that out, because there's some math and there's some stuff that is that I'm looking at that makes it a lot more elegant, much more lightweight, much more easier to use. And I also want it to just run, You open it up, you import the material, and it just works. So, next question. Why don't I start a monthly subscription school for making comics with grease pencil? Watch this space, Kelly. That's all I can say. I might DM you later, Kelly, on Patreon and let you know of a couple of exciting things that might be in the works. Look, at the moment, it may not look like something to do with comics and Blender will be out till sometime, I want to say next year, as early as possible next year. But I can't really speak about that just yet, just because, well, nothing's set in stone. All right, G Castro 3D asks, what tools do you use for the storyboarding job? Well, I use Grease Pencil, and there is this amazing plugin called Storyboarder, or just Storyboard for um, for Blender. And what it does is it essentially gives you a toolkit and a setup to allow the creation of storyboards very, very quickly and easily. And I am really enjoying it. Now, you can actually get it for free. Here's what I'm going to do. I've posted this link before, but I will post it again. Storyboard. Not that button. Storyboard for Blender. Storyboard add-on. Sorry. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, I'll send you to the GitHub page. So let me just post this. There we go. Right. Right, yeah, so that one will also point to his Gumroad page where you can download it for free and all that. And that's what I'm using. And, I talked to Wes Burke and I said, oh, look, he said basically, storyboard however you want. And I went, look, I know you guys are using Blender. It'll be really good to, stay focused in that space. So I'm going to find a solution that allows me to use Grease Pencil and Blender. And he's like, yeah, that's really good. And then this guy, Edward S. White, comes up with this storyboarding add-on. You can get it for free on Gumroad. He does a suggested donation. I definitely pay the suggested donation because, one, I'm using it professionally, and so it's a tax write-off for me. But also, after I started using it for many, many months now, it is worth it. It's like, he's asking like $16 US, and I just thought that is a bargain as far as I'm concerned, because it's just making my job easier. But like, the thing with Gumroad is, yeah, download it for free. Use it. If you're never going to use it again, great. You don't have to pay for it. But like, if you find yourself using it over and over again, and it just makes your life easier, just go back there and just go purchase again and throw him a couple of bucks. It's I think that's sort of the way that I like to support artists, and I like to sort of shout out to artists and sort of say, yes, this guy's worth supporting. This tool has saved me so many man hours. And yes, you can do storyboarding in just vanilla Grease Pencil. But this particular plugin allows for all sorts of stuff. It sets up a bunch of cameras for you. It sets up Grease Pencil objects for each of those cameras and all sorts of things. Look, yeah, just click the link, check it out, and if you like using it, yeah, just have at it. I mean, it's fantastic. So that's what I'm using for storyboarding. Because the other method in just Grease Pencil is to keyframe, and that's perfectly valid. It can, it works just fine, and there's nothing wrong with working Grease Pencil that way. All right, so my inks are coming along quite nicely. Does he have the... it doesn't show me the kneecaps, but he's got this... I remember this. There are like these bladders on the suit. Shane Olsen charges a one-time fee of $650 for his school with ZBrush. Yes. Yeah, there are some absolute masters of it. And again, all I can say is watch this space. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised in the new year. But more of that. Yeah, there's reasons why I can't really talk about it much, but look, it's something that might be in the works, Kelly. It's something that I think you've been asking me about for a long time, and finally I'm going to get to do it. In terms of what the rates will eventually be, it's dependent on the platform. I have a grease pencil course out there, and what I like about it is that it's the client was Canopy Games. They set the price, and they released it on a platform called Teachable for only $10 US. And then, they were umming and ahhing about it going on to Udemy, which is a very popular platform, but in terms of what artists make on Udemy, it isn't much. And here's the kicker, all right? I'm just going to, here's a little inside baseball for all the viewers right now. On the $10 that you pay on Teachable, I get about 70% of the cut. That's not bad. Of the $24 you pay with Udemy, I get like 8-10% of the cut. And so if you were looking at the math, you pay less on Teachable, I get more per student. You pay more on Udemy, and I get less. And even in terms of percentage-wise, I need like double the students. And, so I always try to direct people to the place that is more value for money. And, people are very kind. They're very generous. They're like, oh, yes, but I want to support your work. If Udemy is the way to go, I will gladly pay $24. And I tell them, stop. No, don't do that. If you like Udemy, if you've got an account, if you get it bundled with something, great. Get the saving. But if you want to support me and pay less, and if it's a one-off, go to Teachable, okay? You're going to save money, and I get more out of you. So it's a win-win. Win-win-win. Okay, going to add some Chris Bachalo-style boots here. So I don't know if you guys saw, but there was some pirated videos out there on a particular site, and it's still up there. And this guy sort of playing Robin Hood, but he basically steals everything from Udemy. And one of the things that one of my clients said, he said, why don't you jump on that site? I mean, comments are free, and just put the link to where people can buy it. And so you can kind of undermine that whole philosophy of, oh, well, I do this for people who can't afford it. And yeah, look, I understand, being a student is definitely hard, and I am not going to lie. There was always pirated software and stuff floating around back in the day, and I don't fault anyone for trying to get something for less. What this guy's pirating, however, is stuff that's being made by people like you and me. And we're not trying to make a buck out of anyone. We're trying to get paid for our time. And I don't think it's ever going to get to the point where I break even on that grease pencil course, just because I spent an insane amount of man hours. And now, the thing is that the agreement that I had with certain clients, and the agreements going forward, is that there's always more content that you're going to be producing, right? And the first one is a bit of a trial. You're trialing out to see if you like to work with the client. You're trialing to see how long something might take you to produce. And so there's always a sunken cost in that you'll never really get back. But what happens is that should you like working with that particular client, and I did, and you end up doing it again, based on that previous experience, you then say, okay, I can invest this many man hours because I know that the course cost this much, and I got this many students. Now I have a name. I could probably get repeat students, and there's a bit of a guarantee there, all this sort of stuff. And you generally make back your profits on repeat courses. That's sort of the model as far as I see it. And so, yeah, like it was not a waste of time. I love that the course is very, very well received because if it wasn't, then, that's a reputation thing. For me, it's like, well, Paul doesn't know what he's doing, and I'll never buy a course from him again. So it had to be a good course. And I'm really, really, really happy that the people who have done it, I've been getting a lot of private messages from people saying, oh, I just finished the course. It took me a while. I really loved it. I learned a lot, blah, blah, blah. And I love those interactions. I love when people sort of come out and say, I found this and it helped me do X, Y, and Z. Because I know that's working, right? You're sort of interacting with people on those personal levels. And that's much more rewarding than anything else. Now, when you get a pirated course by someone like me, what's often overlooked is that you won't get the files, you won't be able to ask questions and get a one-on-one interaction with me, the tutor, which kind of sucks. And so if you don't like the course, yeah, you sort of have to look it up again, or yeah, it's fraught with uncertainty, is what I'm saying. But yeah, like I guess the philosophy is try to get them taken down from the sites, but never punish the end user, so to speak. So if I ever found out someone pirated my course, we're like, oh, that's cool. I'm really glad you got a lot out of it. I wouldn't take that further. But if I found it on the site, I'd say, I'd be sending the cease and desist letters, and I'll be sort of contacting their provider and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, because that's sort of where whoever's making it available outside of the channels that I wanted it to be available on is not really getting the message, Anyway, that's enough said. Udemy is cool, but you usually don't get the level of instruction you want from cheap courses. Yeah, because I think a lot of the people who go back to Udemy... Oh, there's a tangent. Tangent line, I mean. Know that they can only spend a little time. It is free to sign up and become a Udemy instructor, and it is free to create your own content and channel and all that sort of stuff. But you sort of won't get promoted until you sort of pay them, or you have a good rating on Udemy. And so like the Udemy rating is good to boast about. Like I won't say no to that. Oh, look at these inks, man. While I've been talking, we've got some pretty cool inks. Yay. Sorry about that. Yeah, so like having something on Udemy is worth it. But my recommendation from my little experience of getting stuff on other platforms is sell it on multiple platforms. Don't just rely on Udemy. Everyone sort of knows it. It's like everyone knows Kickstarter, right? If you say crowdfunding, everyone's like, oh, so you got a Kickstarter. They don't say, oh, you have a GoFundMe or God, I've already forgotten what the other Kickstarter type things out there were, because everyone knows the name, and sort of Udemy's like that. Teachable, people are like, oh, what's Teachable? Well, Teachable is that sort of platform that you can integrate into your own website. And so a lot of people say, oh, it's only available through Canopy Games. No, it's actually hosted by Teachable. Canopy Games just sort of have integrated it into their website. And so they've got all the branding and all of that. I just saw that, Arturo. Yes, yes. OnlyFans. Yeah. Why don't I get an who'd be? And I'm dying. Yes, Blender tutorials on OnlyFans. I can already see the marketing now. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that the market would be very niche. I like it. I'm not gonna diss that. It sounds hilarious, but could you imagine? Subscribe to my OnlyFans. Exclusive Blender tutorials. Could be a thing. Could be a thing. Oh boy. Bring in the lols. Right. There's the... Blender has layers now. Oh, hi, the Nerd Sherpa. Layers. No, these are layers inside of a grease pencil object. It's not texture painting. It's grease pencil. For pin-up girls. Cheesecake. Yes. Yeah, look, Okay, fair question. I know I've only got a few people here, and if you're getting this on a delay or whatever, I'll ask the question, see if people reply. Anyone interested in not safe for work content? I'm just putting. I've got a few artist friends, and they're very very talented, and they're always saying, "Oh, Paul, you should get into this," and I think it'd be good. And I'm like, "Yeah, look, I got to know more about it because there is a community there, and it's not all, you know, smut and filth and all those other things that, you know, people say when they, for goodness sake, think of the children. There's some really classy stuff in the not safe for work space, and I've been, look, I'll admit, I've sort of been interested in doing some of the work for a while, and sort of, yeah, definitely keeping it, you know, classy. And by classy, I mean, if anyone knows, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Stepyan Seljuk. He does a book called Sunstone that I've become hopelessly become a fan of. It's just a wonderful, wonderful story, but it's definitely in the not safe for work space. And you know, he did stuff for Top Cow. I think Witchblade was one of his, but he's now sort of independent. And his work is just amazing. I love that sort of NSFW artwork. So, look, if anyone is interested, I'll post a link in the chat. But, like, you know, you don't have to click on it. It may not be a thing. I totally respect that. And, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with not doing it. But it is a space. Hey, Chris is here. Yes, Sunstone is fantastic. You know, you think it's one thing, and look, it's just a romance, man. It's a romance, and I'm digging it. How you doing, Chris? He's checking it out. He must be having lunch. He's also in Sydney. Yeah. Look, this is a good time for some interaction. This is great. If there are things that you want to see me draw, or topics that you'd like to ask my patrons, or no, ask me to ask my patrons, yeah, drop it in the chat. Like, it's always a little bit difficult for me to come up with themes and sort of gauge what people are into and what they want to see more of and all that sort of stuff in terms of these speed paint type of subjects. I'm on your new 65-inch TV. Oh my god. Oh my god. I really hope it's in 4K, because I'm looking at this in 4K, and I'm just hoping that everyone can see the buttons. I'm like, look, why didn't I think of this before? Hang on a second. Viewport. No, where is it? interface. Yeah, no, we're at 1.35 resolution scale. Is the scale large enough? Can you guys, if you haven't got a 65-inch monitor like Chris, is the scale of the buttons and stuff large enough for, I don't know, your iPhone, whatever you're watching this on? I can always bump this up a little bit. So watch this. I can go 45, let's say, and that's slightly larger. All right, you'll see the text and you can see things a little bit better. Yep, all good. Right. Put that back there. Excellent. I'm on an iPad with, I'm assuming it's that, what was that? Retina display. Is that still a thing? Does that age someone if they say things like retina display, because it's all now, 8K and, these massive resolutions. Bruce Timm style characters and back. I mentioned, Kelly, thanks to you, I mentioned Bruce Timm in a live stream that I was involved in yesterday. It was Batman Day. And I did this Adam West style Batman, but everyone was going around, what style of Batman do you like? And I think that you had shown me Bruce Timm's work, and I love those proportions, the big chest area and sort of thinner legs, but like there's this personality to his work that is amazing. And I said, oh look, I really like Bruce Timm's proportions when he draws things like Batman, Superman, that sort of stuff. It does invoke a lot of the, Batman Brave and the Bold, those sorts of things. Yeah, Bruce Timm is wonderful. Thanks for getting me onto his artwork. I know you're really into his style. Yeah, minimalism. Yeah, but it's a definitely a misused word, isn't it? Like, there are some things you think, oh, minimalist, great, that's just a couple of lines, and then you see an artist like Bruce Timm, and yeah, he may be very economical with his line work, but there is a surprising amount of detail, and by detail I mean like you can see texture and character and all that stuff. Okay, so I'm just gonna thin this out, duplicate it so that we get this nice consistent piping for his little nose plugs here. So that sort of stuff is wonderful, and I find that I tend to gravitate towards the more cartoony stuff when it comes to drawing very, very quickly. And Bruce Timm is sort of become an inspiration, I guess. I have a couple of local artists that I'm also inspired by, who do wonderful, simplistic stuff. I got to run. See you, Arturo. Thanks for dropping in. Really like the input, and I loved seeing that. And don't forget, tomorrow or the day or two, there's going to be the speed rant version of this video as well. Okay, I'm not liking what's going on here because it looks like it's not folding back correctly. I might completely redraw this section here. Let's see. Get the pen here. Yeah, the style of the Batman the Animated Series, that is definitely got those hints or nods to Bruce Timm style work. That stuff is magic. Oh, I don't know if he's watching. I don't know if he will watch, but there's an artist who works for DC at the moment called Eric. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to quickly search his name. Eric Owen. All right, look this guy up. He does Teen Titans. He's been working on some Batman. And would you believe he contacted me privately about some of the work that I'd done on YouTube to do with freestyle, grease pencil, all that sort of stuff. And that was a real, I was fanboying because my girls, they've got some of his work. Oh, thanks, 3D Animation Hub. Yeah, I talk a lot. So even if you're just listening, it's sort of like a podcast. And I love reading the comments as I go. So yes, Eric Owen, he's done Superhero Girls, Teen Titans, Batman, and he's been getting into Blender. And so when the work that he's been sort of alluding to in our chats becomes public, I am going to be sharing the crap out of it and saying, "Oh, look, this was done using Blender. He's used Blender for the buildings. He's used Grease Pencil and Freestyle, and I got him onto the line art modifier for Grease Pencil. One day, get your own DC. I'm a little bit more like Raj Al Ghul, where I will train the masters in using Blender and Grease Pencil, and they will go out and be Batman, and I'll just be the man behind the curtain. If that makes sense. Yeah, oh boy, like, because if I was drawing, I would not be able to come up with the tools and teach until I got a break from the drawing. And it's very demanding deadlines. And one of the reasons that he looked me up is because he had these deadlines. All right, should we check out to see what these lines look like on their own? All right. Oh, look at that. Look at these inks. I'm loving this. Let's take a look through the camera. That's looking good. Great. Okay, so now I can just sort of finesse some of these. Okay, what time is it? Okay, we've been going for an hour. This is the time where most people said that they would be joining. So, yeah, hopefully we'll get an influx of new viewers. Yeah. It'd be great to see some Blender get some traction in the comic space. Yeah, it would. I've actually been at this sort of thing for years, and talking to my good friend, who I'm sure I've mentioned, Jason Badow, who is also a DC artist at the moment. He's just finished his massive run on the After Dark series Joker Harley, which is some of his best work. And I've had the privilege of, not only being good mates with Jason, but getting a lot of input and suggestions from Jason. And he's always been saying things to me of the nature of like, oh yes, look, we've got to see, how you can market this skill or how it works in the comic space. Because it's one thing to say, hey, look, I use Blender for comics. But until you can sort of say to people, this is why you should care, this is how you can save time and therefore money on your big projects, then selling it is the other step. And so talking to people like Eric and Jason and sort of really gauge, and people like Kelly here, who's making his own comics, I kind of get the idea of what people want to see. And it definitely informs how I can sell that skill, right? So, number one, yes, it's good to say, use this program for comics. Number two, you have to tell people how you can use it for comics. And I've got to say that the line art modifier is something that has definitely changed the game, because there is, there's a little plug-in add-on by Chip Walters. Yeah, he does the KitOps stuff. I don't know if you've seen KitOps. It's sort of like a little... You can create your own library of assets and snap them together like Lego blocks and do, cutting and so on. He's got this little tool called Simple Sketch. And if I enable it here in my preferences, let's just go to add-ons, right? Simple Sketch. Oh, simple sketch, right? I'm enabling this add-on, right? I'm just going to show you what that entails, right? It's basically got this toggle simple sketch, and when you click on it, basically it generates two grease pencil objects with the line art modifier already created for you. And you can then use this little add-on to tweak all of the settings. And you know, the bottleneck is grease pencil itself and line art, because it gets a little complex. But I showed Eric this, and he was like, oh, this is a game changer. I'm going to use grease pencil to create my line work from now on. So yeah, it was really, really great to have that sort of interaction. All right, so look, we could probably call these inks sort of done. I'm liking a lot of stuff that's going on here. Maybe we just need to get this bit of extra contouring and yeah, get some of these lines scaled down, because what's going on here, okay, so this line is unnecessary because we've got this bit coming in here, and now it's just a matter of, looks pretty done to me. Yeah, the line work's there. Should we get on with some colors? I think so. I'm going to put in the irises in his eyes just so that we can maybe just some really thin, let's go very thin here. Okay. Right. Let's see if we can, because these are going to be glowing blue. Oh man, these eyes. No. Just, okay, so I'm going to flip this around because I'm better at drawing eyes from this angle. This is going to look a little bit wonky. I'm apologizing. And I sort of want to get on to the next bit for you guys watching here. Okay, so we've got this eye and this eye. They're sort of like going to be that glowing blue. So look, that's going to be okay. Yeah, I know there's a circle tool, but like I just sort of want a placeholder, and then I'll do the circle tool for the coloring. So yes, okay, so let's go fills. Now maybe let's try doing a fill mask first. So let's go with a nice even tone, and let's see what happens when we get the bucket fill tool into negative. We'll leave all the precision as it is. Close enough. And now I think it's shift, draw line, and then bucket fill. Oh no, I crashed. Oh my gosh. Phew. Thank goodness I saved. Man. that was scary. Okay, let's get the fills in. Let's try this again. Bucket fill. Yes. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to take off some of these. Yep, that one and that one. Let's take off those. Okay, get this color in. Bucket fill. So if I click on a bucket fill on the plus, what it should do... right, because it's on solid stroke. We need it to be on solid fill. Otherwise, we're going to get something very, very strange. All right, so we got that. Let's go negative. Shift, draw to close off those lines, and then bucket fill outside, and it crashed again. Right. I may not be able to do that method. Damn it. Okay. Gonna have to be the hard way, I think, which is going to be tracing a little bit. Okay, am I still on? Yes, I am. You've made a mistake and say, oh no. The oh no second. Yes, that's right. It's got a name now. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to fill some regions as we go. Okay, we got some other bits and pieces that we could definitely ink a little bit better, such as, like get this sleeve bit in. There. Bit like this. And there's obviously going to be these other bits that are going to come out here. So they're like those big rope things that he uses to, he's riding a sandworm essentially, but I'll put this one in later. Tom Scott, the Ono second. Yes, I think I'm going to be using that again. Look, I think I might do these later. Yeah, I'll do these later so that we can get Paul Atreides here coloured. Let's go to fill. Now let's see. If I go solid fill. Oh, come on. Don't want you. Save. Excellent. Solid fill on the inside. Is this going to muck things up? Interesting. I can't even see it. Why can't I see it? Is there a fill there? I'll just see what's going on with this fill tool. Precision brush settings, fill. Didn't fill anything. Fill, solid fill. Leak size 5, thickness. I think I know what. Mode, fill, stroke and fill. Right, mix factor. Interesting. Unable to fill unclosed areas. All right. So what we need to do is boundary, all layers visible. Ignore transparent, limit to viewport. Simplify. Leak size in pixels to consider the leak closed. Well, if we bump that up, yeah. Okay, see if this happens. Again, unable to fill closed areas. Interesting. All right. Well, look, I don't want to dwell on that too much. I want to start filling these in. So I'm just going to have to do it old school. We'll pick a color for his uniform, which is probably going to be this brown. And we'll just do the trace. How do you decide which app to draw with? Clip Studio. Yeah, I like Clip Studio as well. This is partially the niche of this channel, right? So it's a bit of the spectacle. I say, hey, I'm going to draw in grease pencil. Check it out. And be all weird and, artsy and stuff. But also, look, I really actually do enjoy drawing using the grease pencil. There are things that I'm used to, and there are some effects which I'm hoping to get to today. And if we go over time, I might roll this into a second live stream like I did last time. But if I could get the coloring done, that'd be great. This is just blocking out the areas. Yeah, yeah. There's a cost factor. That is too. Although, as far as programs are concerned, Clip Studio is a worthwhile investment. Here's why: they're always having a sale. You can always get the latest on sale if you don't own it, right? And it's always like a 50% or 75% off type of sale. Like they give you massive savings, right? And so, that sort of thing is usually really affordable, like as far as programs go. Once you have bought it, if a new version comes out, you don't have to buy it again. I asked a comics guru, Brad Geiger, about, oh, look, this new version's come out. I've got this old version. Do I need to buy it again, or what's the deal? He goes, I have never paid for an upgraded version of Clip Studio Paint ever. I'll say, what do you mean? He goes, it's totally legit. to just download it and then punch in your existing serial number or whatever. Okay, I'm going to need some darker brown here for his hair. So I'm going to keep it in this grey tones here. And that's true. So Clip Studio Paint does not have a subscription service unless you're using it on, I think, an iPad or iPad Pro. And so you buy it once and you can upgrade pretty much forever. So I highly, highly recommend that. Oh, look, it's always up like under $100. Like we're talking at 50% off. It's usually things like 79 or, those sorts of prices. So it is super, super affordable. But yeah, look, I enjoy using Clip Studio Paint and I enjoy using Blender. One thing I am trying to do when I get back into the space of creating assets and so on is to create assets in Blender that I can then export to Clip Studio Paint, because what Clip Studio Paint does amazingly well, just need a sort of like a mouthy color here, is allow you to create 3D references, right? How do they make enough to survive? That is a good question. I wish I knew. I really, really wish I knew. Look, different software companies make money in different ways. So if you take Blender, for example, yeah, the software's free, right? But they have this thing called Blender Cloud. And Blender Cloud is like a subscription service, and a lot of artists that make money on their tutorials and assets and so on donate to Blender Cloud, and that pays Blender. But it's not only that. You often see those articles like Epic gives Blender a mega grant of blah, blah, blah for, 5 years, or Google contributes to the Summer of Code, or whatever. All these big companies jumping on board actually pay for the development. And yeah, look, I've been to the Blender studios. It is a wonderful outfit. Ton is an amazing guy. He really is. But yeah, don't kid yourselves that there are salaries paid and there is money made, but it's not through the purchase of the open source software, right? So yeah, there's a really interesting model in these times. Adobe still got their subscription suite, and it's still kind of like the gold standard when it comes to certain bits of software, and studios still use it a lot. But in terms of video editing, I've used DaVinci Resolve, and I love it. And more, DaVinci Resolve has got a lot of motion graphic style stuff inbuilt, which is sort of making me use After Effects less and less and less. But I kind of have to keep one finger in the Adobe school because of client work. Because they send me Photoshop files and they want me to animate stuff in After Effects. They don't mind what I use to edit in, but they need After Effects files created, they need PSDs and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, what are people talking about? I should take a look. Let's see. I've seen a lot of the companies that have donated to Blender. Yeah, offering something so big for free gives a lot of goodwill and people want to repay. They've killed CS4 now. They shut the DRM service for CS4. Oh, did they? Yeah, because a lot of people still had, Creative Suite 4. And that was like the legit free version of Photoshop and After Effects and all that sort of stuff that you could use for essentially nothing. And I think that's what people were using for a while. Yeah. It would. I doubt it would sort of like open up newer files. Hey, they switched from Maya to Blender for personal work and DaVinci from Premiere. You can still use it. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. You can definitely use the sculpt tool. I tend to. It's my habit to use the edit tool because I'm used to editing vertices this way, and I know you can also sculpt vertices. Um, but I've got the proportional fall off, and it kind of works like the sculpt tool a little bit. And I just sort of hate switching between the different sculpt modes and stuff. But like, I should probably get that in my workflow. It's definitely something that, well, optics wise, seeing people use it is definitely like it makes people see, ah, yes, that guy knows what he's doing. He's using the sculpt tool. I'll shamedly admit I know the sculpt tool. I know how to teach it. But yeah, I tend to use the edit. I defaults to editing. Just cause I see these as vertices, and I just sort of push and pull all the little vertices around. And I won't get too exact with this because hair's supposed to be sort of free and wild and blah blah blah. Right, boy, I haven't even gotten to a background yet. How are we going? Oh boy, well, look, we got some good concurrent viewers and everything, and I'll keep going as long as you guys are happy to stick around. Um, I'll probably have to cap it at maybe another half hour, 45 minutes or something. But yeah, look, we've got some flats down. They're looking good. They're looking pretty solid. I just have to see. This is what I wanted to do with a one-click fill solution, which didn't work this time. But what are we gonna do? You want to sort of get on with the job, right? And we want to get on to shading and effects and all that wonderful stuff. Right. Yeah. The end result is the same thing, though. Yeah, it is. I mean, a sculpt can definitely be faster for particular workflows. I really do have to learn it. I'll admit. This is just sort of how I've been figuring this stuff out for the longest time, and sometimes for me it's like working the way can sometimes be faster than working with a better method. Just because of the learning curve and stuff, and like it doesn't have a big learning curve. It's essentially the same thing. But yeah, I sort of look at the sculpting tools in a different. It sort of gets me in a different brain space. I don't know if that makes any sense. And so you're not so much looking at it as dots or vertices, but you're looking at more of shapes and strokes, and then you're sort of sculpting those shapes and strokes. And so yeah, it sort of makes sense from an artistic point. Sculpting is more like a Photoshop type of thing. All right. So look, if I'll get these flats down, and I might schedule a second live stream to continue this if you guys are up for it. Are you guys up for another live stream, maybe in a same time during the week, or at a different time? Just let me know, and I'll gladly do it. Thanks for being my source of entertainment for the night. You're welcome, 3D Animation Hub. Thanks for dropping round. Yeah, like if it's getting too late for some people, I'd be happy to put a pin in this, and we can continue this. And of course, I'll be doing the Speedpaint bit as well later on when it's done. So maybe one more session, and we'll do shading, effects, background, all that sort of stuff. What do you think, guys? I'll leave it up to you. Alright. These are looking nice and tight. Just going to save that work. Great. So I'll just color in those eyes before I call it a night, and we want a nice sort of, or we want a sort of a glowy blue, don't we? So we want the basis to be a nice sort of glowing blue. Right, Because he's on the spice. You know, he's got a bit of a spice problem. I can taste sounds. I'm wondering if at the beginning of the movie they're going to put up, you know, a warning saying contains drug taking themes. But the whole galaxy's on drugs, aren't they? This time works well for me, actually. Home from work a couple hours ago, and a nice mellow stream shows up. Ah, awesome, Corey. I'm assuming you're on the West Coast. You don't have to say where, because I found the West Coast time was a little bit more agreeable. On the East Coast, it's probably 1 in the morning or something like that. Yep, that would be lame. All right, so I've got this pipe to do. Okay, so we'll go with this grey colour maybe. And I'll just fill this in like so. One. Let's try to get this. See, I tend to fill in that sort of stuff. PDT for me. Yes. That was the timing that I really liked. Okay, so shall we try? I'm going to try the sculpt mode. Grab, push. Let's go with push here. And that's where grab. Yeah, see? Oh. Dude, you might have sold me on this. Look at that. But yeah, I definitely need a thing that can sort of up and down the radius, and I don't know if... Yeah, I forgot what the shortcut keys were, if there are any. If people know the shortcut keys, feel free to yell it out. I'm happy to... For increasing and decreasing the brush. See, so that's why... Yeah, I did too. Like, but you know, at the time, I'll still watch it. I still, from time to time, like that guilty pleasure of putting on David Lynch's Dune. I think he didn't make it a secret that he was the director, but if you ever just Google Alan Smithy films, you'll see that Dune is one of the most famous ones because he really didn't like where it went. Although he did have his staple of actors, didn't he? You know, square brackets for brush size. Yeah, that's what I was trying. Square bracket. No. Shift square bracket. No. Control. No. Should I just look up the shortcut keys? Let's see. Input. No. Navigation. Key map. Radius. No. Sculpt. Yeah, that's the one I saw. I saw the extended David Lynch one. It's, you know, I'm not sure if it tells more story or less or anything like that. But, okay, so what have we got here? We've got grease pencil stroke sculpt, thickness, left mouse stroke sculpt, grab, push, twist. It's only just got shift left mouse, control left mouse. What does that do? Shift left mouse. No. Control left mouse. Oh, that just grabs, which is what I'm doing with my stylus. Yep. Grab. And of course there's the, what's that, smooth. Thickness works more on strokes, doesn't it? Yes. Strength. Push. Yep, let's just push that into there. It's press F, hold, click, and drag. Okay. F. Oh, look at that. Yes. Thanks, Chris. And then you got to press to get that. Yep. So that's a shortcut key to change the radius. And then you got to click to get that radius in. Nice. Okay. All right. So look, we've got some colors here. I'm happy with that as the basics. Oh, wow. Now we've got a lot of concurrent viewers. I can't stop now. So why don't I throw in... Should I go background? I'll do the background and then we'll worry about the filling in other stuff. Nah, you know what? Let's go with some shading here. Shift F will be strength then. Yes. Okay, I might be sold on this... wait, who was it who said, has he gone? G Castro 3D. Was he the one saying stuff about... I'm trying to go up the chat here. Or was it Jim P Animation? Yes, whoever it was, I'm sold on the sculpting now. All right, shade. Let's go 0.3. We need a light source. I think the light source will definitely be coming from in front, so we'll be doing this sort of lighting here. Just to get an idea. All right. Let's go draw. Now, this... it was G Castro 3D and he's still here. Hi, yes, it was you. Yes, and I really like this sculpt. I just tried it and, yep. Okay, I think I can sculpt a lot more easily. Right, so now, what I do with the shade is I set a mask. And I set the mask to the fill layer. So we don't have a mask layer anymore, do we? Oh, we did. We did. And we also did have these shadows, which I'd put in. Right? And those shadows already work pretty well. Why don't we just work with those that I had? These are the ones I prepared earlier. And I make the shadows like that. Okay, so suddenly we've got the shading. That's looking quite nice. And yeah, went into edit mode. I want to use sculpting. And what was it? Shift F, hold click, Shift F. Okay, let's go Shift F. That must be the strength. You're right. Okay. Right, so I want to go Shift F, get this at 100% strength, click. Excellent. So if there's bits of this that don't look good, right, I can just move them around a little bit. Yep, F, larger. Right, so that's how we can use the sculpt tool to move things around. I like it. I like it very much. Yep. I will happily admit that, yeah, I may have learned something today. Yeah, but there's, now let's see, does it work? Yeah, so that's one drawback here. Connected only, right? That in edit mode, when you do connected only, you can say select something like this, and you can use the middle mouse scroll to do the proportional fall off, and only the connected shape will work. Let's see a sculpt tool do that. I'm sure sculpt tool can do something like that. I'm sure. So yes, but yeah, I definitely like that idea. All right. Right, so sometimes you might see a bunch of dots appear because when a shape is drawn, there's always this gap, and by hitting F, you actually fill that gap, and it sort of like creates more points along that. Okay, so we got that. All right. And I've gone back to my old habit, haven't I? Now what I'm going to do is simplify this by selecting some of those and just go dissolve, right? And that just dissolves all the vertices that you selected. Right, got this big thing here. Right. Okay. So look, those shadows are in. They're looking okay. They're looking a bit mignola at the moment. You know, these nice, very defined shapes, which could be a good look actually. Okay, sculpt tool. Where are you? Need you back. Yep, because it just pulls and pushes vertices on the outside, and not all of them. Okay. Yep. There you go. F question mark. F question mark. Radius. Oh, okay. So, but just the F does the radius as well. You don't need the question mark for that. Interesting. Oh, sorry. No, in edit mode, when I hit like say I select right, F to fill. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, in edit mode, it's F to fill. Right. So see that it fills in the gap. For some reason, the shapes are opened. So there's another one, right? Yeah. Okay, so those are some nice shadows there. And he's starting to look pretty good. All right. So what I might end with is sort of leaving it here, but to give you some idea of where it's headed. Okay, so I've got this world color that's going to have to be a type of blue. But if we select this and go into draw mode, I really like this blue, right? So I'm going to drag and drop that into the background world. So that will be our world color. Excellent. So now we'll get out of draw mode. Swatches, you can just click and drag colors, which is really, really handy. Right, so we've done that. Okay, now selecting this, we can add things like effects. And we can say add a glow effect. It doesn't look great to begin with. The effects are over the entire grease pencil object. What we can do is, okay, we up the samples as high as we can go. We can up the threshold so it's just those brightest bits, right? Glow color definitely has to be blue, but because the teeth are the brightest, you can sort of see. Can you put a gradient as a world background color? Yes, you can. I am going to do something different with the gradient though. Let me show you in a second. Right, so I want the eyes. Okay, so if I pick a color, let's say I pick this color, right, and maybe the glow color, select color, right, blend mode, add, it's just finding that color everywhere. This glow isn't working great, so look, I might leave that effect for another time. Gradient as a world background color. Okay, so here's how we can do it with just the world. Okay, I'm going to show you, Corey. I'm going to split this window and go into my shader editor, and I'm going to switch this to world. Right, so we've got our background world color. Can use a vertex group or something similar to control the glow. What I'd prefer to do is to create a different effect. I'll get onto that. I'll just answer the gradient question first. Right, so here we are in the world settings. You can actually get, right, let's go Shift A there. Of course my screencast keys went, didn't they? We'll go converter color ramp, right? But I'm just going to do a quick shortcut here. Selecting this, it's Shift T, no, Control Shift T, no. What's the shortcut? Is it Shift T? No, it's not going to do it. Okay, what I'm trying to do is to get a texture coordinate and a vector map. mapping. Right, this might be necessary. Here we go. We go color, right? And we can control where that color sits, but we can't exactly see where it's sitting at the moment, right? Control Shift T for the mapping if you have Node Wrangler. Yeah, I thought I had Node Wrangler on. I do have it. It's right here. Okay, so let's delete those. Control Shift T. No, it's just giving me something. Ah, man, my things must be balked. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, though. So let's put the mapping in here, and let's map it to window or camera. Let's map it to camera, right? So you see this diagonal here, which looks pretty crappy, right? And so we can go negative 45, and then we sort of want to, get that location in. We scale it, and so on, and then you can sort of change that, right, the brightness and all that, and you can maybe the add-on, yeah, that could be it, right? And then we can sort of change our foreground background colors to something more deserty. Okay, so there's a gradient right there. Let's play around with texture coordinates, vector coordinates, generated. No, it's just going to do the same thing. It sort of like has this offset angle, right, which is really weird. But here we go. Window, we can now go negative 45, and now we can play around with where the gradient sits, right? And that's basically in your world settings. Yeah, it does. And the world is really good because like it's just the world. But the way that I like to do it is to actually use lighting. And what I might do is I'll stop the stream here, and in the next one, when I look at effects, I'm going to show you how to do it with grease pencil. You can do it a couple of ways. You can put a gradient in the grease pencil, which is a little bit simpler than this world method because of the angling and such. But this is a universal way of doing a gradient world. But what I like to do is set up a grease pencil shape and then use lighting to create really subtle gradients. So guys, this is where we've left it at, and I think we're in a really good place. Thank you all for joining. I'm really happy that this time worked out for everybody. I might try to do this again. Now, I will put a schedule on YouTube for when I can. I've got a fairly hectic work week, and so I've got to sort of fit it in somehow. But yeah, look, we'll see you on the next one, okay? So thanks again, everyone, for joining. Yeah, bye for now.